And she is not like any other in the entire world. Therefore, our intimacy and sex life is also unique. In the sense in which we now have to understand each other and develop those things. That is why the scriptures, the word of God, will never condone things like bringing pornographic stuff into the bedroom. I've had we've had to deal with some Christians who say, no, but we bring this movie to spice our... I said, but who is that you are bringing into the bedroom? It's unbiblical. And in fact, you are bringing third parties into the bedroom that begins to confuse your own sex life. There are people, even when they are having sex with each other, the picture in the mind is not the wife, it's somebody else. And men and women have come to confess to say, this is what has been happening. But Jesus wants this to be exclusive, very exclusive. And the only one who should be present in your bedroom is the Holy Spirit. Amen. And like I said yesterday, he's the one who says, yes, you are doing it the right way. Yeah. The way I have agreed to. And he will bless and anoint that sex activity that the wife and the husband are having. The enemy is stealing from couples. Because people are searching and hunting for pleasure and they can't find it. Because it cannot be found outside God. That is why in Hollywood, one prominent lady or prominent man is running after men, women after women, and so forth. But they're not finding satisfaction. But when you are grounded in God, and you now move to that area, you find peace. Peace that surpasses all understanding, like we are told in Philippians 4, 6 and 7. So my brothers and sisters, we need to bring these things to mind. Now, let me say this, as we look at the third area, financial management. I did say I'm not an expert, but I found friends who could actually instruct me on these issues, but also to understand what the Word of God says. And we've put into practice some of these things. My wife is not a finance person, but now she knows how to sit in her office and do her books according to the basic principles of finance. We even went on to even teach the guys who help us at our piece of land in Glen Forest. We brought them together one time, taught them budgeting, taught them to number their assets, to count their assets, and they were quite surprised. We said, look, there is what we call finance for non-finance people. So we're not going to ask you to produce financial management accounts or all these kind of things, or financial statements and so on, but basic principles of finance. And God will bless us beyond measure. Amen. My brothers and sisters, we have a long way to go. But life, this is one of the most treacherous roads in the world. But life is not a straight road. Life is a journey that must be traveled no matter how bad the roads and accommodation, Oliver Goldsmith. But my brothers and sisters, let me say this. Only Jesus, thank you Lord Jesus. Amen. Only Jesus can guide us successfully through such a journey. Amen. I don't know how anyone can move through such a journey without Jesus. And in fact, he will lead you to heaven. Every other road, no matter how much money you find on that road, if Jesus is missing on that road, it leads to hell. Why? Because we are told clearly, only Jesus leads to the Father. There is no other bridge. There is no other alternative. No matter how much money you can make, only Jesus leads to heaven. And that is why in life, even your financial journey, no matter how rough it is, walk it with Jesus. And when he instructs you to do certain things, do them. Even when you don't understand it. The Jews have mastered this art. And I've actually been speaking to a couple of friends who are Jewish. Very rich fellas. They said, tell me, what do you do? They say, we simply obey. According to Isaiah chapter 1 verse 19. If you are willing and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land. So they live in obedience. When it says give, they give. They don't withhold. In fact, I remember one time, 2002, we're in Johannesburg, and I came from Nigeria, and I found when we got home, in the morning one Saturday, a young Jewish boy, how old was Gareth? About 14. He was in the garden, mowing the garden. No, in fact, he was not mowing because he had a friend. They had actually the manual, what do you call it, the slashers, doing that in our garden. So I was confused to see a white boy in my garden, slashing. I said, what's going on here? So I went to my wife and said, no, there's an arrangement with that boy. He actually came and knocked and said, look, can I do your gardens? And then my wife was surprised, but then there was, of course, a payment. He wanted 35 rand for the slashing. So she said, no, proceed. What we didn't know is he was doing that for every household. So from our house, he would go to the next door, and now you see this young white guy is very humble with his friend, and they were holding slashers. And so we said, proceed. Today, Gareth has a fleet of over 15 cars, and he does landscaping in Johannesburg. And he was still at school. His father is one of the richest men in Johannesburg. And he was, when we got in touch with him, he says, I teach my children biblical principles. You work, and you reap from what you sow. My brothers and sisters, finance has got principles that if we obey and respect them, it's like gravity. If you obey the laws of gravity, you are safe. If you go up a tree and you try to jump, it will pull you down. Same thing with economics. It has got basic principles, just like the principles of aerodynamics. And so finance must not be intimidating to us, but we must learn the principles of finance. And so when the word of God says, give, and it shall be given back to you, pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing, most of us will say, no, it's too much. But that's a principle. Give, and it shall be given back to you. But we withhold most of the people in the world today. So when we walk this financial road, we must do it with Jesus in mind, because he is the only one who can lead us to the proper destination. My brothers and sisters, today as we talk about these issues of finances, let me point out that we live in a Babylonian system. The Babylonian system is rough, selfish, but it must be overtaken by the Messianic system that Jesus came to usher in. And so, in other words, we must understand, okay, because, for example, money is on the top causes of tension in marriages. And a common reason for divorce, as surveys will show anywhere else in the world. When I looked at it, I said, Lord, something is wrong here. And immediately, the first impression that comes to you is because you are using the money wrongly. You see, mammon or money is supposed to be a slave to us. But most people have become slaves to money. And hence, roles have shifted. Now, when roles have shifted, that's unnatural. And so you will see statistics like this. Couples say, what causes most stress in their relationship? Finances, 35%. 25% annoying habits among themselves. 12% children. And 7% relatives. That was actually one survey which was done some time ago. But I must mention, finances seems to top the ladder. Now, some people will say, where are the sexual issues? Are they not causing stresses? Look at the next chart. The main reason couples divorce, incompatibility, 43%. 28% infidelity, sexual issues. But money issues, look at it again, 22% and 5.8% emotional or physical abuse. But when you look at those first two, intimacy issues, 71%. And in that, there is also incompatibility even on financial issues. That is why we must be naked as husband and wife before each other on financial issues. Basically, I bring my everything, whatever it is, my documentation, Lord, there is the money there. And wherever she's coming from, she also throws it there, and we create one pot. That pot is owned by Mr. and Mrs. Boyle. My mother has no role in it. My father has no role in it. My brothers have no role in it. It's me and Sarutai. But we find sometimes brothers will come, come on, don't you come $20? And so on. And then you give. Your wife does not know at all. No. I've actually instructed my own relatives that if they need any money from me, they go to the deputy. I lead the household. She's my helper. So I said, no, those are administrative issues. Go to my helper. And so she goes, they go to the helper. There was one brother of mine who didn't like it at all. So because of pride, how can I approach a woman to say, no, man? But they had to break themselves to go there. Because each time they come to me, don't you know, I only deal with matters which my assistant brings to me. So if you have not got my assistant, I'm sorry. And it created so much peace. Because before I figured it out, what used to happen is I would just dish out. And sometimes I was happening all these things. Oh, so I'm not relevant here. Also, in fact, one just stage, oh, so blood is thicker than water. And until we say, no, only the blood of Jesus. So, my brothers and sisters, these issues are critical. And so, even as we relate together as couples, we need to lay down fundamental principles that are in line with the Bible. What does the Bible say? We must be one flesh. So if we are one flesh, therefore, anyone who is asking money from us both of us must know what is going on. And it brings a lot of peace. My mother knows that. She will not come to me asking for money. She goes to my wife. My mother-in-law knows that. Every relative of mine, they know if you want something from that guy, you cannot separate him from his wife. My brothers and sisters, this is a serious point. So if that is just the one thing that we would do in terms of sorting out our finances, and then on a daily basis, if need be, weekly basis, but certainly on a monthly basis, sit down and say, the money for this month, here it is. Whatever it is, $100. So how are we going to deal with this $100? God will cause multiplication to that $100. Because I've seen a lot of people who had lots of money in their hands, but they can't explain where it is gone. Because money has a tendency to disappear, to run away. It must be respected in accordance with the principles of God. But it is a servant to the men of God, to the women of God. So my brothers and sisters, what are we going to cover quickly? There are 2,350, in fact over, scriptures in the Bible about finances. Did you know that? And you can go and dig for yourself. Fortunately today we've got tools. We can run through, you can Google and say, I want every piece of scripture on finances. And when you get it, please, when you get all those lists, understand what it says. If not, approach the man of God, the woman of God, close to you, whom you can say, they explain it on this. And they will explain it. But one of the things I found, and we have since dealt with it with my wife, Proverbs 22, verse 7. Just as the rich rule over the poor, so the borrower is servant or slave to the lender. It is true. And they will keep it. So what happened? And let's see, like, even your movement in the street is no longer straightforward. You're just hiding. Because you are a slave. And so we need to deal with this issue, brothers and sisters, so that when I walk into the moment, I move around. And say, look, I'm free. I'm free. I'm not a slave. And then 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 23. God purchased you at a high price. Don't be enslaved by the world. And when we talk about the world here, this is the Babylonian system. Because the Babylonian system is rough. And so what we need to do is, God, how do I get financial freedom? And to free myself from this being imprisoned by the Babylonian system. And my brothers and sisters, the word of God, not my word, is there for us to feed and to apply. One of the principles we've actually started applying them in our family. And I said to my wife, let us follow them to the dot and prove that God cannot be a liar. That's right. And for sure, let men be a liar, but God can never be a liar. Why? Because he has been very consistent since time immemorial. His word never drops to the ground. So I would urge us, my brothers and sisters, we don't have enough time to go through these scriptures, but I found this that debt is slavery. Yeah. There are some situations, my brothers and sisters, let me put it this way, where you can go into debt, but you protect yourself by securities that you have put. For example, if I've got a couple of assets that I know these are solid, yes, I can go into the bank and say, look, I need a facility, but I will secure my facility with these assets. If need be, I can liquidate that debt quickly. So I leverage, I take advantage of the assets that I have to create another asset, for example. And that may necessitate you incurring a liability, but it must be done carefully. Because if you do it without care, you sink the family. You know, lots of people particularly in the Western world, I've got lots of relatives in South Africa, they drive beautiful cars. They stay in nice houses. But guess what? One time I was asking one of them, what is your net worth? They said, what do you mean your net worth? They don't even like the calculation. I said, okay, just do a rough one. What do you think? And I said, no, it's not. I said, okay, let's work it together. It was in the negative. It was negative. Now, let me put it this way. If it is negative temporarily because you are working your way on something and you want to be getting into a positive territory, that's fine. But not to know, me, I just live in the negative territory. So when you disappear from this planet, when God calls you home, you are living a negative situation to your family. And in fact, the government or all the authorities, when it comes to estate duties and so forth, they will come after your family. And guess what? That is when you easily find that your family can become destitute. God forbid that it be found amongst us as Christians. So my brothers and sisters, debt is slavery, and we must run away, escape from it. So God created man and gave him the capacity to receive and enjoy wealth. Efficient use of cash flow, prudent equity use, return on investment, asset protection are all parts of what we call wealth creation potential that God has given to us. And it is a good thing to receive wealth from God. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 19. I like this verse very much. It is a good thing to receive wealth from God and the good health to enjoy it. Amen. So, I always pray, God, when you give me something, depend a healthy actually to come with it. Because what good is it for me to be given $1 billion and every day I'm on my bed and I'm groaning, oh my goodness, my back, and so forth and so forth. And so when Solomon was writing this, he knew what he was doing because remember he was one of the he was the richest person who ever lived, apart from the Lord Jesus Christ. And he said, it is a good thing to receive wealth from God and the good health to enjoy it. To enjoy your work and accept your lot in life, this is indeed a gift from God. So no matter how much money I have, I always realize it's a gift from God. And we must take it as such. So what are we going to look quickly through? Understanding the capacity of mankind to create wealth. And secondly, understanding the fundamentals of wealth management. And lastly, a look at some biblical wealth generation and management laws. And I was astounded when I stumbled across these principles of wealth management. And I said to my wife, we've got a piece of ground in Glen Forest, which we are actually now using as a ministry center. And I said to my wife, let's test God's principles on this piece of land. And we are astounded, brothers and sisters. We are astounded by what God is doing. And so, understanding your capacity to create wealth. When that money comes into your hand and my hand, and we are handling it in the family, there are some principles. Deuteronomy 8:18. And you shall remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant, which he swore to your forefathers, as it is this day. And then one thing which I realized, my brothers and sisters, money, when it comes into my family, the covenant that is there between myself, Saruzai, and God. When I take my wife and I say, God, we've come, and I remember we are in covenant with you. And your word says in Deuteronomy 8:18, when we remember you, you will give us the power to get wealth. Well, here we are, and we join hands with Saruzai. We need access to wealth. But not for ourselves, not for our selfish, to do selfish things, but basically, yes, to take care of our needs. Like David will say, don't make me too poor, that I may curse your name, nor too rich, that I may forget your name. But give me what is enough. But what is enough? God does not just give you just for yourself. It is, yes, to take care of your needs, but also to bless others, to bless the kingdom of God. So my brothers and sisters, God has given us the capacity to make wealth. Paul J. Meyer, the founder of Leadership Management International, he sees personal leadership as follows. And by the way, he is a Christian. Well, he was a Christian because he's late. Based on that awareness of a God-given capacity, he says this, that personal leadership is the self-confident ability to crystallize your thinking and establish an exact direction for your own life, to commit yourself to moving in that direction, and then to take determined action to acquire, accomplish, or become whatever you identify as the ultimate goal for your life. So in other words, the issue of strategizing we were talking about yesterday is a family critical. Because when you set your goals, you can now be accountable to each other. So, but I can ask something. You said you would do A, B, C, D. And I would also do A, B, C, D to achieve this vision of ours. Are you doing it? And on a daily basis or weekly basis, you now become accountable to one another. What we used to do, I used to ask Saru, but Saru, what happened in the church? I said, why give me so much pressure? Why? Because there was no written down agreement that she was going to do that. And in particular, the relationship between husband and wife, it's very difficult to teach your wife, and vice versa. But when you write things down, it makes it easy. So Saru has got a book, and I've got a book. So we actually then say, Saka by September, but only around 30. We need to wait, no, Dad, I'll do this, I'll do this, I'll do this, but you know, I'll also do this. And but 2 times, Richard Pazara to achieve this. Then I go, she goes. End of the day, Saru, you were supposed to do this, have you done it? Yeah, my dear, no, things are okay, they're moving well. You know, if there's any problem, please, just give me an alert. Maybe I can assist you in some way. So we are now working together to execute our strategies to achieving the goals. But if you approach Muslim any written down, let me tell you, my brother, because I'm talking from experience. When she said, but Dad, you were supposed to do something, I said, you are what's wrong with you? So my brothers and sisters, we must crystallize our thinking, establish an exact direction for our family. And then we must commit ourselves to moving. Because now when you have committed yourself to moving towards that direction, when you hold each other accountable, you are now holding each other accountable to an agreement. And it becomes easy. My brothers and sisters, I found this very helpful. In fact, we've even impressed it upon our children, where if he says, look, I want to achieve this, well, then put it in writing. What steps are you going to take? So they put those steps. And when I follow up, they know exactly where I'm coming from. And it becomes easy for them to respond. So finances are not different. Now, 2, understanding the fundamentals of wealth management. Let me put it this way, my brothers and sisters. Scripture says, dishonest money dwindles away. But whoever gathers money little by little makes it grow. You know, I used to have this aspect where I wanted high returns. Until I heard that, you know, high return actually is at someone's cost. Yeah. Yeah. So someone is crying when you are enjoying. I said, Lord, please have mercy upon me. I want to gather my wealth based on your principles. And I don't want anyone complaining when I get rich. But I know, he stole from me. Let me tell you, my brothers and sisters, that cannot bring sustainable wealth. And I like the illustration of a plant. You see a little plant. We are farmers, so she grows vegetables. You go there, you know, I like the way she is passionate about growing. So sometimes she actually saying, can you see what you call them, the needles? What do you call them? The U thing. Yeah, the U nail. You know when they, yeah. So when it's coming out of the ground, it's even the leaves are not. So it actually makes a U nail like this in the ground. And then Saru is very excited. Come and see. Look at. So I'm looking at this thing. I said, so when will it give us fruits? But my brothers, because she does tomatoes, she does cucumbers, she does the red pepper and so forth. And initially I didn't understand it until I was told that little by little gathering, don't despise $1 that comes from that tomato. Because it will follow God's principle. And in fact, I was actually amazed one time because she has got, let me give you an illustration. She has got rows and rows of red pepper. So when she first invited me to see this thing, I was looking at this, and I was saying, yeah, there's an issue here. Where is the money? I mean, that was actually Then I learned something which I had never learned. In fact, a tomato plant, what they call the nemonator, when it's fully grown, it gives you 15, what do you call them? Clusters. Each cluster is gives you about a kg. And each kg, depending on the price, you can sell it $1. If it's very good, $2. So if it's $2, it's 2 times 15, which is $30. So every single plant in the greenhouse is $30. So now when I go there, I have learned to respect a tomato plant. Because when I look at it, I'm seeing $30. And I know that that $30 comes little by little. Because when it grows and it has got clusters, and you handle those clusters, because she takes the tomatoes, then she takes them to food lovers or to wherever, and then she tells me $30 has been deposited. I say, thank you, Lord. Because it has come out of hard work. Amen. Whereas there is money that can easily come into your pocket, millions of them, because you have played some games. But when that happens, brothers and sisters, let me tell you, when that happens, it means there is something that is suffered. Unless you have delivered a product that somebody has willingly accepted and is happy to accept. But not something that is just overnight. That's why I will never participate in these get-rich schemes. Because they basically thrive on enriching one, but stealing from the other. They impoverishing the other. Thank you, man. So as long as there is impoverishing of an individual in that equation, run away from it. Amen. And so we've made a principle with my wife. We've had a proposal coming. No, we can make you rich. I said, thank you. Take your richness somewhere else. What they are saying here is not right. And we would rather walk step by step and build this concept. So little by little. And so you find we need financial planning, estate planning. I wish we had time to go through all these issues, but today we are basically going to focus on this one. But estate planning, critical. Particularly when we then depart as parents and our children remain, some are struggling with issues where people have not been diligent in terms of doing the estate planning. Business planning when you establish a business, education planning for your children, insurance planning, investment program, and retirement planning. This aspect, when you retire, you're always knocking on your children. But brothers and sisters, when we have these children, they are supposed to go on with their own lives. If they come back to bless us, oh, we thank God. But I must never be desperate that, oh, look at them, they're not even looking at me. Well, do something about it yourself. Because God has never designed us that we give birth to children, then they go and there must be insurance for us. What's scripture? But brothers and sisters, we need to protect our lives by following the biblical principles. And so, management of wealth comes into when it comes into your marriage. You must always be God-focused. And the resources that He has given you are for His glory. Amen. For His glory. And so, Matthew 6:33, seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you. Biblical principle. So in other words, my focus is continuously the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God. And these things will be added. These are the bonuses that come through. Now, wealth is about attitude. Your personal attitude and the way you handle the finances. As a married couple, your personal attitudes must find common ground. In other words, you need to pull it together. Not to tell, well, I don't know what he does with his finances. Well, if I give this woman my, like the one thing which I thank God for, even if I have, see, we establish a pot, and I can go wherever I go with peace of mind, because I know, because we are both custodians of that pot, she will protect the pot. I've had situations where some ladies will say, that's what you want, Maria. And the window is so short. And before the guy comes back, it's all blown. Now, my brothers and sisters, it's a result of a situation where the husband is always saying, no, when you need something, call on to me. So it's almost like, you have to literally knock and be very nice, be on your knees, cook very well, and so forth. Okay, I'll give you access to this. As if now it's a handout. But this money is our money. And so we are custodians of that. And my brothers and sisters, God will bless us as we show one flesh even in terms of our finances. I have no doubt whatsoever. In fact, there are times when Sandra goes to South Africa and she will carry our cards. And I have not doubt whatsoever. Whatever she does will have a reason. Because we have agreed that our approach must be common. When she does something even without consultation, I know it is for our good. And we need to trust each other to that level. Yeah. Because this is the person I share my bedroom with. And so how come I can trust her on other matters and exclude her on other matters? It's not godly. And so we must be one flesh completely. This will determine whether you as a couple are content with your handling of finance resources and your marriage life. When, in my case, I can testify, it's a testimony. I find that Saru, when she has completely removed stress around money. If we have money, she knows we will use it well. There are times when we go through rough patches, she will know it's a rough patch, and she's brave. But it will not bring stress. Why? We continue to focus on God and say, God, this is a patch, it's a winding road, and we've gotten to a tough part of the road, but God, you are with us. Financial management involves money, which must be planned for maximum effectiveness in line with your goal to glorify God. My brothers and sisters, I cannot overemphasize the God-centricity aspect of money. And so we move on. There is a write-up which was done by these guys. This was actually based on a talk, but I found it useful. So please listen to it. And it talks about Hong Kong dollars and so forth. But I hope it will be helpful. Is there a way of increasing the volume at all? It's a beer. Yeah. I don't know which button you press on this big machine. On the speakers.
Here is how you can go about drafting a financial plan. Set your goals. It begins with you thinking of what your goals are, such as buying a new house or saving for your retirement.
Okay, so let me just try again so that at least it starts right from the beginning. Oh, sorry.
You might have a few goals set out for the years ahead. Financial planning is the process by which you can identify, prioritize, and plan to achieve those financial goals by saving and investing your money wisely. Here is how you can go about drafting a financial plan. Set your goals. It begins with you thinking of what your goals are, such as buying a new house or saving for your retirement. Categorize your goals as short, medium, and long-term goals. Set a target date and a priority level for each. Then, understand and calculate the financial cost of achieving these goals. Now that you have identified and prioritized your goals, let us start building your financial plan to fulfill them. Begin by organizing your financial records. File and categorize your financial records. Identify all your income and expenses, your savings, and any investments that you may have already made. Note down your income and expenses. On a monthly basis, list down all your incomes and expenses in separate columns. This will help you start tracking your monthly and your annual income and expenditure. Cut down unnecessary and high expenses. Figure out which monthly expenses are unnecessary and also any other expenses which you can reduce by smart budgeting. But you will be surprised how few people actually do this. The more money you can redirect towards planning for your goals, the sooner you shall accomplish them. Check your financial status. After all the budgeting, is the money remaining in the income column enough to get you to your financial goals? Will the changes in your income match those goals as you come close to reaching them? Will you be able to cope with any emergency expenses? Looking ahead will help you plan and invest better. Rethink your goals. Once you have an estimate of your expected cash flows for the coming years, realign your goals considering your priorities as well as factors such as inflation, which will make these goals more expensive in the future. Conduct your research. Gather all the details of your financial status and study the various investment options that are available. Create a financial plan. Once you've covered all of the previous steps, consider discussing your plan and goals in detail with a professional investment advisor. His professional advice may be valuable in sharpening your strategy and will also give you the confidence that you're on the right path. Stick to your financial plan. Once you start your investing journey, stay disciplined and keep track of your plan, including your budget, your financial status, and the timeline involved. Remain flexible. While sticking to the plan is important, it is also necessary to be flexible towards market movements, income changes, new opportunities available to invest in, life changes, etc. This intelligent maneuvering can make a big difference in the future. If your current financial plan doesn't feel viable because of new life events or changes in your goals, alter it to be more realistic. You may consult your investment advisor from time to time to see if any changes are necessary. Implement your financial plan at the earliest. Don't forget to track your progress regularly or on an ongoing basis. And make sure you review your financial plan regularly with your investment advisor.
So my brothers and sisters, there is a process. There are laws of financial management that must be respected. But overriding all this is God. And that I honor God with my finances. And there is something that, you see, when you say God, this is when the area where he says, test me in this and see if I will not open the floodgate and bless you. Test me. When you're given that by God himself, I would rather test him on his laws and obey each and every one of them. Because he's actually saying to test me. My brothers and sisters, they are key pillars. And I must say that our Christian value system is the foundation. And we must never move away from that foundation. So we set goals, categorize money use. We budget and monitor money use. That was very clear. And we record and report financial activity. You know, I never used to understand. My wife would give every receipt. And there were piles and piles in the house. And until I realized, no, there is value, because now end of month, you sit down with those things and you say, well, so Nando's, how much was Nando's? And then you realize how much you are consuming. In fact, actually, that's you know, that's actually, there was a time when we went to the village, and in the school where I had my primary school, we were told by the headmaster that school, there were kids that did not go to school. And I found that taking care of 100 kids at that primary school was a number of Nando's. And so I said to my family when we were sitting, guys, there is not going to be any Nando's for the next few weeks while we take care of that school. Is that agreed? Yes, it's agreed. And it can be done. It can be done. Because, my brother, when you record your activities, sometimes we actually do things without recording, and so we actually don't understand how much it costs us. Now I've appreciated keeping every single receipt. Come to the end of the month, you now have got a clear list of your expenses, and you can actually see, no, you can do away with that one, that one, that one, that one. Because sometimes we are used to some of these things, and you realize you can actually make very useful adjustments. So you find then that financial management, effective management, has got fundamental pillars that if we strictly follow them, by the way, wealth is not about huge amounts of money coming your way. It's about attitude. And in fact, you will find there are happier homes where a fraction of the income of some of the homes where there is turmoil and chaos. And that is true wealth, because true wealth is resources plus the joy to enjoy the resources. Because what good is it for me to have massive resources and there is complete unhappiness? And then you find that you have no peace. I pray to God that as Christians, whatever he brings our way, we'll be able to enjoy. Categorizing money, my brothers and sisters, on a monthly basis, like has been mentioned, there is biblical stewardship principles. I was taught this by one Jewish guy, a friend of ours. In fact, we had gone to Israel, myself and my wife, and this guy was almost giving us an insight of how they create wealth. And we went to they call it a kibbutz, and in fact, we went to a mushav and a kibbutz, and the way they deal with resources astounded me. And he said, look, in Africa, you guys are rich, but you're poor. So can you explain? He says you've got access to plenty, but you don't know how to make it sustainable. And so I said, explain to me. And this is how they so 10% they tithe without, even it's not questionable. Whatever comes their way as a result, 10% is not questionable. Now, us as Christians, Most of us, we steal from ourselves. Because the very thing that is supposed to open blessings for us, we don't do. Because if churches were to be really, and when I say the church, I'm not talking about, because the church is not the building, it's us, the people. Were to obey this instruction, no church will fall. Whatever you do, ukarima chibage chako kwa 100 bags, just bring the 10 bags to the church. Ukata huko zako 10, zikata mazai 20, bring the 10% to the church. And that principle, they are so clear with that principle. And then they give 10%. This is like your offering. And then they save 10%. And they invest 20%. So they actually go into the stock market, they do some other businesses, and they say 50% they spend. Brothers, this they do diligently. Listen to one guy here. In fact, by the way, when I was told that, this is Matthew, we actually now also bought 5 jars for him. And we actually, whenever we give him, I said, categorize. So he has got his tithe, offering, saving, investment, and spending. He loves the spending part of it. But we always make sure it's only 50% of what you're supposed to do. We are trying to drill into his mind a mentality that says, tithe, give, save, invest, and then spend. Without this, each time we gave him his monthly allowance, couple of days, it's gone. Then he's coming to the mom, because he knows, and then says, go and explain to your dad. So he comes, until we said, okay, your bucket system, let's put in the bucket. Now he knows. In fact, this bucket, the reason why it's empty, because he had taken the money on a Sunday, straight away we said, never delay with your time. It's not your money. It's God's money. And so give it when it comes into your hand. After all, the taxman takes it before it comes to you. So listen to this guy, my brothers and sisters, as he explains.
Several years ago, I was listening to a very interesting video presentation by a well-known author, Robert Kiyosaki. And he said made this statement: if we gave 100 people $10,000 today, told them to do business with it or whatever they want, and came back and checked a year later to find out what would happen, statistically, this is what would happen. 1 year later, about 80 of those people would have 0 left. About 16 of them would have about $10,500, or about the amount that you might get if you put some money in the bank at interest. But 4 of those people would have multiplied that money somewhere from between $20,000 and $1 million. And the question is, what do the 4% know that the 96% don't know? Are they really any smarter? The answer is no. Do they have any more time available? The answer is no. And what I discovered when I began thinking about this is that 4% actually know 5 critical biblical principles come right out of the Bible that most people don't know. And you know, even people that are not Christians, people who never read the Bible, wealthy people who are part of that 4%, whether they're Christians or not, understand and implement these 5 principles. Let me share one of them with you. Here's the very first thing that those 4% do. They never put all their money in one pot, spend out of the pot, and then try to give, save, and invest. You know what that 4% do? They divide their money into very specific categories, and this is what they do. They give first, they save second, they invest third, and they spend what's left. What the 4% do is limit their spending intentionally and purposefully to only a percentage of their income, and they give, save, and invest first. And everybody else spends first and then tries to give, save, and invest. If you're one of the ones who's always put your money into one pot and spent and paid all your bills first, and then try to give, save, and invest, you know how difficult it is to even give to any kind of charity or a church or anything that might be on your heart. It's difficult to give when you spend first. But when you give, save, and invest first and spend what's left, it changes everything. This is just one of the principles that I've included in a book that a friend of mine, Earl Pitts, and I wrote called Wealth, Riches, and Money. You can check out the other principles that are in that book as well as that one at our website, www.familyfoundations.com.
So my brothers and sisters, there are principles that need to be followed. And there are tested principles which we need to take heed of. Recording of financial activity. Luke 16, chapter 10, verse 11, it says, he who is faithful in what is least is faithful also in much. And he who is unjust in what is least is unjust also in much. Therefore, if you have not been faithful in the unrighteous mammon, who will commit to you and who will commit to your trust the true riches? And that is why nations, countries that are supposed to be sitting in plenty, we have shortages. Because we've been unjust and we've not been faithful. With all the gold, with all the diamonds, with all the minerals, but you still find we are extending our hands. And God is saying to us, faithfulness, being just, being obedient to God's word will usher us into prosperity. And this goes even for us as families. God can usher us into prosperity. So the major categories, as we saw, storing and maintaining personal financial records, absolutely critical. It doesn't mean that you need to computerize. If you can computerize in a way, better. Particularly these days, we have got so many platforms that can help us. Some of them free platforms on the internet. Creating personal financial statements, particularly balance sheets and the cash flow statement. And by the way, these are technical terms that in finance you think, no, these are finance. But now, my wife can actually do a balance sheet for herself. They are very simple principles. And then creating and implementing a plan for spending and saving. That's, of course, budgeting. And we must also set goals. Once you set goals, it is easy to know your current net worth. The day we explained to Matthew the principle of net worth, we've never been, I saw him. He actually now wakes up and he goes onto the internet. There's a calculator on the internet which calculates what percentage you are in, depending on your net worth. If you go and check, you'll find it. So, when I explained to Matthew that you need to tell us what your net worth is, so he says, how do you calculate your net worth? And we gave him the equation. So, we said to him, whatever income you have, you've got expenses. So, you've got assets, you've got liabilities. Assets generate income, liabilities generate expenses. And then we said, look at it in terms of coming with a personal balance sheet, and sorry for the font, it's too small. But your assets, basically things like your cash, your securities, whether they are marketable securities, personal property, whatever, you list them as assets, and you come with a total which you call A. Then you have your liabilities. You look at things like your personal debts, current monthly bills, unpaid income tax, whatever and you come up with B. Your net worth becomes A minus B, giving you C. That is now your total liabilities, and your net worth becomes the difference between these two. And when you want to increase your net worth, here's how you do it. You reduce expenses, reduce spending and debts, increase your savings, increase your investments. And we have never seen a young man so excited that now he can actually have his net worth in his own hands. So when you give him money, now he knows, he minimizes. In fact, one stage, I saw him baking some cakes at home. Bought his own flour, milk, eggs, and he baked the cake, and they joined with the young man. Ben is a young Israeli boy. So each time that you used to see Ben coming with cakes, every day. And I know at HIS, because they are rich kids coming from rich parents, they buy a piece of cake for $5. And they don't mind. And Ben was just saying, yeah, you can have another one. $5. The young man was building his net worth. And most Israeli youngsters, when they finish high school, they've got enough money to purchase a house. Yeah. Enough money to purchase, because they are so much aware about net worth. So now, he was now saying, time has run out, I need to catch up. But one thing which we told him is, as you sell your cakes, make sure that you've got fair pricing. Don't take advantage of people. Be just in the way you do it. And so the principles of creating net worth must obey the principles of God. So my brothers and sisters, these things, when we apply them, even doesn't matter what kind of money comes your way, when you obey these principles, God, for some reason, I don't fully understand how he does. There's a multiplying effect on what you do when you obey his command. And that is why when he says, give and it shall be given back to you, pressed down, shaken together and overflowing, it's a principle of God. The world does not know that kind of principle. So my brothers and sisters, this is just an example. Assets. So you put all your assets, whether it is check, cash, bonds, stocks, whatever, properties, car, furniture, and it will give you a total amount in terms of your assets. But also your liabilities, from insurance, your tax, whatever, the credit cards, or the mortgages, and you get your total liabilities. The difference is your net worth. And praise God if it's in the positive territory. Now, if it is in the negative territory, don't panic. Don't panic at all, because that's a starting point. At least you now know. There are people who actually cruise through life till death, they are still navigating in the negative territory. And you see them smiling all around, but so after they've gone, that's when you the children now and the wife or the husband, the house is going, the cars are taken away, and before you know it, they're exposed. My brothers and sisters, net worth, we pray that God will multiply it so that it stays in the positive territory. And it takes planning and it takes focusing on what the Word of God says. So, principles of budgeting, I don't want to take too much time here. Luke 14, verse 28 to 30. For which of you intending to build a tower does not sit down first and count the cost, whether he has enough to finish it, lest after he has laid the foundation and is not able to finish, all who see it begin to mock him, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. Now, this was Jesus himself saying this. And he also gives an example of a king who wants to go to war. Now, you have to check, do I have enough equipment? And if you don't have enough, please, peace. I've got problems here. Budgeting is like that, my brothers and sisters. You don't take something head on when you don't know how your finances are. In fact, a budget is telling your money where to go, instead of wondering where it went. When you have got a budget, you basically, we've got our daughter, one of our daughters, my young brother's sister that we are looking after. And Saruzai sat with Shalom, and basically said, my friend, when you go out there to Beijing, she's in Beijing, we will give you your allowance, and we need you to do your budget. She diligently brings a budget every single month. Every single month. And when we make an allocation, she says, I know where every cent goes. And she says she has got other girls there who, the month end when it comes, they are desperate, literally desperate. What has been happening? They buy cosmetics here, they buy ice cream there. They have no idea how. So the end of month goes, they are wondering where it went. And yet the principles of budgeting will tell you, you command your money to go where you have determined. And that's budgeting, my brothers and sisters. But there is also what Robert Kiyosaki, where the gentleman was being referred, saying, if you do not know how to care for money, money will stay away from you. If somebody says, this is not a person to trust. And so there are principles there for my brothers and sisters that we must apply. So what are we saying? Income and expenses. What we need to do is to say, so what is going to be my income? Is it a salary? Is it a wage? What have you? Or what are going to be my expenses tied to offering savings, investment, spending, and so forth? At least you know those things that are consuming. As a principle, never spend what you do not have unless it is for fixed assets for which financial value can easily be realized. So in other words, you can take a position like that. And the other key thing, my brothers, an example, this we actually were sharing with our, you see, because we used to have guys who were working for us. And month end, they were desperate to get to month end. And they would sugar my wife again and again. Until we said, okay, come one weekend. So we took them, it was a salary. From morning, from 8 to 5. Said, okay, we want to show you how to budget. So you look at your income. And how much do you earn? So I say, okay, this guy, 2.8. And maybe you have other things, like for example, this gentleman, he had a musika. So I take some tomatoes. So per month, they want $20. it was income. So I said, put it there. So he got $300. And then we said, okay, what are your expenses? So we insisted, by the way, when we were there, that my tithe apple must go. They were grudgingly on this. They didn't want to accept this. But we said, tell you what, if you want to prosper, we were 16 of them received Christ actually. And we said, go and pay your tithe. Who's a people negotiator? And we pray and trust that they are stuck to this. So we said tithe 30. Savings, said you have to save 30. Rental, this guy was basically paying a rental of 40. Food, $40. Electricity, 15. Transport, 20. So it was 75. My variable expenses, medical, clothing, and so forth, were coming to 90. And so what we said to them is, your total income, your total expenses, your balance, put this in some investment. If your wife is selling my tomatoes, she down 35, I multiply a foot so that your $20 becomes more. And we said to them, if you are diligent in this, don't say no, but Maria, you don't go with 300. There are guys who have got thousands, but they don't know what the money is. Start small, because Scripture says, be faithful in the little that you have got, and God will give you more as you go. There is one young man now, it is one young man we know, Emmanuel, where you can actually see his family is happier. And in fact, tell you what, they now go to Bible study every Wednesday, and they say, no, we are learning and they are growing. You can see his health. Both first child, I tell you, even the wife, you know that's we actually recently promoted him. I got my greenhouses, so he promoted him. She promoted him to be the guy in charge of managing the greenhouses, and his income actually increased by $50 from what he was earning. And I said to Sarah, do you realize something is happening here? This guy is applying the big of it. And as long as he maintains that path, God is going to increase. Yeah. And so we find he's much happier. The other youngsters, you can find, they are very abusive with the money that they get. They drink it all. And so the wife is in turmoil, the family is in turmoil. And one youngster actually ended up going to Mozambique. I want a license. Well, no, I'm going to get better money in Mozambique. Got to Mozambique, spent 2 months there, ran back to Zimbabwe because it was too hot there in terms of actually managing that situation. My brothers and sisters, we need to look at, in conclusion, and look at some biblical wealth creation and management laws. Look at first chapter 2, Peter 1:3. By his divine power, God has given us everything we need for living a godly life. We have received all of this by coming to know him, the one who has called us to himself by means of his marvelous glory and excellence. So in him, like it says in Acts chapter 17, verse 28, in him we live, we move, and have our being. So we live in Christ, and he has not excluded anything that pertains to life. So if you want to prosper, have a happy marriage, have an impact on society, remain in him and apply his principles. So to conclude, there are some laws of wealth generation and management by the richest man himself, who lived, apart from, of course, from the Lord Jesus Christ, because who owns everything. But there was a man, Solomon. You know, I went to the Word of God. I was trying to see what Solomon ate at his dinners. And I'm sure you've read it. You know, even the Queen of Sheba, when she came, she was astounded. Yes. I'm sure, well, the people say that certain things didn't later on happen because Solomon was quite a character. but what he says is that she marveled. Even the attendants, what must stewards? The attire of these stewards, they were smart. The kind of food that they ate, the man was rich. Yeah. And so I said, look, we need to learn from this man. How did he manage it? And so let's listen to some principles. He says you have to sow in order to reap. So there is no quick bag out of nowhere. It doesn't exist. My brothers, when you get it, it means you have gotten it. So this is the law of investment. Ecclesiastes 11:1. Cast your bread upon the water, for you will find it after many days. So when you invest, what it is basically saying is that you are going to get a return on your investment. Law number 2, and this is just, by the way, just a few of the laws, because I found that there are more laws in Ecclesiastes, chapter 11 particularly. Invest in 7 or 8 areas. Law of risk spreading. When I look, give a saving to 7 and also to 8. For you do not know what evil shall be upon the earth. Ecclesiastes chapter 11 verse 2. Which means you need, when you have got your money, maybe plant this crop, like for example what I say to Sanzai, put your tomatoes, yes? Put your green pepper, because you know the market may be flooded with tomatoes. And then you have got your red pepper, which is always very high priced. And you have got garlic, you have got onions. And all of a sudden you realize you've spread your investment. And when something is not doing well, it's now balanced by something which is doing very well. The law of risk spreading. Number 3, do not wait for a perfect situation. The law of perfect versus good. He who observes the wind shall not sow, and he who regards the clouds shall not reap. Ecclesiastes chapter 11 verse 4. And I said, this man was very wise. Now I can understand why he was rich. Did you know that Solomon used to have ships coming from different parts of the world, bringing wealth to him? So he did not just say, no, he liked India. He was going to Africa, India, all the other parts of the world, and they were bringing this situation. And he was not perfect, waiting for a perfect environment. And that, do not tire of good investment work. It's the law of diligence. And he says, in the morning, sow your seed. In the evening, do not withhold your hand. For you do not know which will prosper, either this or that, or whether both alike will be good. Ecclesiastes chapter 11 verse 6. Law of diligence. In whatever you do, be diligent. And then of course, number 5, follow your youthful heart in a godly way. There are some, like, I used to have in Pasha. He had an orchard, he had a mango. You know the guy. And every mango season, I told him mangoes, I didn't know Tegesa. And when he sold, he had lots of money. And guess what he brought home? Another wife. And he ended up actually with 17 wives. I mean, we are changing. Even after the mango season, some of them would go there. And I tell you, this, my brothers, when they have got money, is the law of accountability before God. Listen to what he says. Rejoice, O young men, in your youth. Let your heart cheer you in the days of your youth. And walk in the ways of your heart, and in the sight of your eyes. But know that all these things, God will bring you into judgment. So when I've got money in my pocket, even if I get $1 billion or $1 million, I can be overly excited. But there is the but. Know that for all these things, God will bring you into judgment. Brothers and sisters, this is helping me. I've shared this model with my wife, and I've just said, tell you what, there is so much that we need to learn from the Word of God. And the Word of God is absolutely amazing. Brothers and sisters, if we know these things and we apply them in our life, blessed are we if we do them. Thank you very much.